This video will walk you through how to make the decision entries on the marketing page. Remember, there are no magic numbers in Glo-Bus that you can copy, but there are magic procedures for arriving at the optimal entries. Also, for a full walkthrough or just to get your questions answered, see the link in the description to book a Glo-Bus coach with the business simulation coaches. Or you can just binge watch our videos.
Now that we figured out the profit maximizing market share, we want to figure out what is the highest operating profit we can get, or highest operating profit margin we can get for the given market share. First, we have to get the market share up to 25%. So there's a number of ways we can do that. One of the ways is we can decrease the price. That will increase the market share. People will want to buy more of our products if there is a lower price, which makes sense. You go into the store, let's do that. You go into the store and you see something for a lower price. Now here I don't have quite 25%, so I'm just going to tweak it with using advertising. I'm just going to change that a little bit. Oh, and still won't get me there. So we maybe website displays, maybe I can use that. There we go. 25% exactly. And here we have an operating profit of $23 per unit, which is just the net revenues minus the total operating costs. So we want to raise this up for this given market share of 25%. And the reason we want to do that is every unit that we sell, if we sell always 308, well, we want to make the most profit per unit because we're going to keep this market share constant, and we just want to get more profit, which gives us more earnings per share. So let's take a look. Maybe the price is a little low. And if I raise price, though, I'm going to have a problem because the price will cause the market share to decrease. I have to raise up that market share some other way. So let's not go that far. Let's maybe go 250. Oh, that's still maybe a little bit much. 240. Let's try 240. Okay, well, we've got 16%, almost 17%. Let's take a look at what we can do with advertising, maybe sales promotions, any of these other ones. Let's maybe raise up warranty, and we'll maybe raise up sales promotions a little bit. And that gets us closer. Well, we're not quite there yet. Let's maybe go website. Well, let's go 2,500, and let's go 2,500 here. See, I'm kind of incrementally increasing these fairly evenly. I haven't touched what I was originally touching, and I still haven't gotten up to that 25% market share yet. So let's keep going. Let's go with 7 weeks and maybe a little bit more sales promotions. Let's go with 120 days, and maybe we'll go 3,000 for each of these. And we're almost there. So at this point, you kind of say, okay, well, let's look at this. Oh, here we go. 180 days warranty period. That gets me up to the market share of 24.9. And maybe I'm going to use this advertising budget a little bit. And that gets me up to 25%. And if you see, I've increased my operating profit margin. The operating profit per unit is greater, and the operating profit margin is also greater. And that's a bonus. So let's keep going. Let's try and figure out where I'm going to have the best operating profit margin, given that I keep this market share constant. All right, well, let's try a higher price. And we want to do it in leaps and bounds so that we actually see a difference here. Let's go 290. What at 290? So I've lost some market share there. So now I need to increase the market share. So and I can't use this again. I can't increase market share by just decreasing price back down to what I had it at. So let's look at maybe advertising budget again. I'm going to go 4,500. There we go. Let's go 4,500 there. 4,500. And it really doesn't matter what the absolute numbers are. It matters what my market share is and what this operating profit margin is. I want a constant market share of 25% again. So let's keep looking at that. Maybe I can use this. So you're just poking around, just looking for the best way to get this market share up. Oh, and that's maybe a little bit too much. So let's go back down. Oh, and there's some variation there. Here, let's use website displays again. That seemed to work. And here's 25% again. And yet again, I have even more operating profit margin. And given that my market share is the same, that on every unit, I'm just making more profit. And so overall, I will make more profit. And it's true. Look at the earnings per share. The earnings per share has gone up. And that allows me to get $1.96. So let's do one more. And we're going to go real far in this. Here, let's go everything here nearly at a maximum. And I'd love to go 6,000 here, but no, it's 5,000. That's the top. What about 30,000? I know that's too much. So it only allows me 25,000. Let's go 25,000. And retailer support budget. Let's go 16,000. And it only allows me to go to 10,000. 10,000. And now what is the price that I need in order to get back down to the 25% market share? Well, let's just go up. We just have to go up and up and up and up and up until we get to the 25% market share. Now again, we don't care what the other competitors are doing. They might say, "Oh well, my advertising budget is too large." No, we don't really care. What we care about is that this market share gets to what it needs to be. So let's adjust back down to the 25%. I'm going to adjust each one of these just a little. Oh, and there we go. So there's my 25% market share. That's the profit maximizing quantity. And we've got a 13% operating profit margin, or $45 per unit. And although that's better than when we first started, that's not going to work for us. So you can kind of see that there's this kind of plateau and this upside down U-shaped curve when you look at the operating profit margin and marketing. So let's come back down to something a little bit more reasonable. Maybe let's try 6,000 for each of these. I know 5,000 is as high as that will go. Maybe let's come down a little bit for sales promotions. Warranty, maybe 180 days. And I've lost a lot of market share. So let's come down in price. So I'm always changing something else to get me to what it needs to be. And here I'm almost there. Let's increase market share a little bit more. And let's increase retail support budget a little bit more. And there we go. 25%. And I've got a 72 operating profit, or 24.2%. So let's speed up the tape, and you can watch me play around a little bit more with this, try and optimize it. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to beat another 72, but we'll see how this works out.
Hitting the like and sub will let me know whether or not this video does any good.
All right. So there we have it. We've got 25%, and I've spent about 4 or 5 minutes just playing around with it, and I was able to get another additional amount of operating profit out of this, which, if you can see that, it made my earnings per share go up by quite a bit. Again, We hold the market share constant at the profit maximizing. We hold the market share constant at the profit maximizing quantity. And then we try to make different combinations of the above to get the operating profit to be as high as possible. And that will give us the highest profit or earnings per share. So now I'm going to find the rest of these areas and what the profit maximizing quantity should be. And then I'm going to find the best operating profit for that profit maximizing market share. The UAV drone marketing page is very similar to the AC camera marketing page. So what you're looking at here is each one of these little bits that will contribute to a market share percentage. And so if we want to find what the right market share percentage is, again, we look at the earnings per share, and we do a little bit of a test here. We'll go to 800. 800, there we go. And we're going to look at our earnings per share and see how it changes as we change the average retail price. And we're looking for things to sort of plateau, and we're looking for the leading edge of that plateau in earnings per share. And at that point, that's where the profit maximizing quantity is. And that's where we're going to find the correct market share target that we're looking for. So let's take a look, and it's a little bit easier because it goes by hundreds for average retail price, but it gives us less granularity, granularity to be able to see what's going on. So we're looking at earnings per share, and we're looking at this, and we're going up and up, and it just keeps climbing, and it starts to plateau. At some point. So we're looking at somewhere in there. You go 64, 62, 75, 82. Yes, it just keeps climbing, but then eventually it starts to come back down. So we're looking at the leading edge of that plateau. So it rises and rises, and we're looking at $2 and maybe somewhere in that region, right in there. So we're looking at between 27% market share and 21% market share. So if I was to pick something, I would just say, well, let's just go with 25, similar to what we had on AC Camera Marketing. And let's call that our profit maximizing market share. The next thing we need to do is we need to figure out what is going to be the highest operating profit margin for this market share of 25% that we're going for. Now, right now it's at 21%, so let's raise that and get that to where it needs to be. Let's try price maybe a little bit, and that was a little bit too much. 1120 and 1160, and we're going for the 25% region. Oh, there's 25% market share for North America. That's the target market share that we're going for. So can I get an operating profit margin of greater than 19.7% at a market share of 25%? So that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to change different combinations of these to be able to figure out if we can do that. So let's start maybe retail price. And we do nice big jumps to begin with. Let's go 1,500. And that brings my market share way down to 18%. And then we're looking at, we can't even look at this because it's not the same market share. Okay, it may have gone up, but we don't care because it's on a lot less units. So overall, our profit might not be, it might be equivalent. It might be the same as what it was before. It might be less. So we will have to raise something else up. We changed price that first time. Let's change maybe warranty. And I got to bring that back up. Oh, that didn't do all that much for me. Let's go 1 year. There, we've got that. And maybe let's increase websites. We're still trying to get to 25% market share so that we can have a comparable market share to compare to our previous state before we started changing it. And we're almost there. Sometimes you have to deal with something that is maybe 1 point off. That's okay, as long as it's 1 point off to the higher side, that's fine. So here we've done it. Here's an operating profit margin of 24%. Before it was 19% at the exact same market share. That means I can compare the two different states, the state before to this one. So this is our new state, new build. Now, can we do even better than that? Let's take a look at maybe this warranty period. Let's maybe bleed off that warranty period a little bit. And it's a 180-day warranty, so we've cut it down by quite a bit. And here's our market share at 22.9%. Now, I need to bring it back up to 15%. Let's do that using the average retail price a little bit, or let's do it with the price altogether. Oh, there we go. So did the operating profit margin change significantly? No, it didn't. So we can say that these two states are roughly equivalent. If you don't want to trade a warranty for retail price, if you don't want to, then that's fine. If you do want to, then that's fine too, right? It was a roughly equivalent exchange. And so at that point, we can go with either. So let's take a look at maybe search engine advertising. Let's go way up for search engine advertising. We've got a lot more market share. I can't look at this number down here to compare it to the previous state, which I had 25% market share. I have to come back down for market share. So how am I going to do that? Well, let's increase our price. Maybe that will work. That did us something. Let's go websites. And, and that increased it. We don't want that in 3,000. Let's go back down with search engine advertising. Let's go back down. And maybe a little bit more of a price. price can sometimes be large jumps. So we need to not get too caught up in getting exactly what we think it should be. So I'm okay with a 25.1% market share because it's greater than the 25% that I had before. As long as my operating profit is greater, well, I'm getting a greater operating profit on more market share. There's no sense that that would be a bad thing. So that's great. I can continue this procedure, and I'm going to do it for each area. So the procedure is I find the profit maximizing quantity. I find the profit maximizing quantity, and then I stick with that market share, and then I change these upper decisions to whatever is going to give me the highest operating profit margin at the chosen market share percentage, which is the profit maximizing percentage. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to show it more quickly. There. All right, so that's as good as I'd like it right now for the available time that I have, and I'm going to just put up with maybe a little bit of a difference in operating profit margin. There's no shame in that. What you're looking at here down at the bottom is you're looking at a direct online sales and third-party online retailers. The third-party online retailers have an influence, or the retail recruitment and support budget has an influence on the split between those. And it also has the discount offered to the third-party retailers also has a bit of a refinement that can be made in that regard. So it allows you to kind of see what differences, and keep in mind that the third-party retailers will tend to be less than the direct retailers unless you choose that the support budget is really high and the discount offered which becomes really high, and then the split becomes more weighted towards the third party. So that does it. That allows us to see a little bit better what the good split would be between these two. You don't want to kill off all of your third-party retailers because sometimes they're important to the business.
See the link in the description to book a Glo-Bus coach. We made a third and best way to forecast your competitive assumptions. It's available as a free spreadsheet you can download in the description. Completing the Glo-Bus walkthrough in the order presented is best. Click on this video next and don't forget to subscribe.